What if I told you there are files sealed in climate-controlled vaults, guarded more tightly than nuclear launch systems that you are never meant to read? Not today, not in 10 years, not in 100, not ever. They belong to what insiders call the Forbidden Archive, a collection of historical documents so sensitive, so destabilizing, that governments would rather let centuries pass than allow a single page to leak. And the strangest part? No one can officially admit this archive even exists. Ask any archivist, and they'll tell you about standard, restricted collections. But what I'm talking about isn't standard. It's the black hole of recorded history where events don't just disappear, they are buried alive. These files have no access schedules, no expected release dates, no public catalog numbers. Instead, they have rotating seals. Every few decades, the classified status gets extended, renewed quietly, with no debate, no oversight, no justification. Almost as if the truth is aging, but the danger inside those documents is not. So what exactly is inside them? To understand that, you have to grasp one uncomfortable reality. History is not written to record what happened. History is written to record what is allowed to be remembered. Let's start with the known examples, the ones we're actually allowed to talk about. There are Cold War programs that remain redacted despite every person involved being long dead. Not because revealing them would harm anyone living, but because exposing them would unravel the story we built around that era. There are cultural files and anthropological studies, intercepted communications, suppressed archaeological findings that contradict national myths and foundational narratives. There are political agreements never meant to survive the administrations that made them. Now, multiply that by a factor of 10, and you begin to see the outline of the Forbidden Archive. People imagine it as a dusty room full of secret papers. But in reality, it's more like a network of vaults spread across continents, controlled by multiple institutions, each holding pieces of a story that can never be allowed to form a complete picture. Why? Because information only becomes dangerous when it connects. Some historians believe these files contain evidence of operations that would reveal governments acting directly against their own citizens, not just in wartime, but in peacetime. Others suspect suppressed scientific research projects abandoned not because they failed, but because they succeeded too well. There are rumors of lost civilizations, misattributed inventions, censored maps, entire chapters of human history deliberately kept off the official timeline. But here's what's certain: whenever an access request gets too close to one of these documents, the response isn't denied. It's no record by that description exists, a polite way of saying, stop looking. Consider the pattern. Every time, the public expects a release when a 50-year or 75-year secrecy rule is about to expire. Something strange happens. A new classification review, a new national security clause, a fresh seal now extended to 2080, 2100, or beyond. Like the archive is not protecting history from us, but protecting the present from history. That's the detail most people miss. The Forbidden Archive isn't aimed at your curiosity. It's aimed at your stability. Because imagine what would happen if certain files revealed that major world events didn't unfold the way our textbooks describe, or that key moments attributed to chance were actually engineered, or that some crises weren't responses, they were tests. And these aren't wild conspiracies. They're documented patterns. Every time new records emerge from any government, the same thing appears. Huge black rectangles, entire pages missing, entire years erased. If that's what they let us see, what does the stuff they won't release look like? Some former archivists describe entire boxes with no metadata, no authors, no dates. Just warnings in the loudy. Not confidential, not top secret. But do not declassify. Warnings meaning the authors never intended these files to be seen by any future generation, no matter how distant. And here's the uncomfortable truth. When a file is permanently sealed, it isn't just hidden. It becomes immortal. Its secrets survive every administration, every reform, every whistleblower. They pass through the years untouched because no one alive has the authority to open them. That raises a question more disturbing than any conspiracy theory. What kind of information is so volatile that time itself does not make it safer? Maybe it's evidence of actions that would invalidate modern institutions if exposed. Maybe it's cultural knowledge that contradicts narratives entire nations are built on. Maybe it's proof of events that would force a rewriting of identity, power, or faith. Or maybe it's something simpler, something more human. Maybe the most dangerous truth is the one that reveals how far people in power were willing to go when no one was watching. Because history has a pattern, people don't hide their failures, they hide their successes, the ones that crossed moral boundaries, the ones that proved something possible which should have remained impossible. So what's the bottom line? Why will these files never be released? Because releasing them wouldn't just reveal history, it would rewrite it. It would force nations to admit that some chapters weren't simply forgotten. They were erased on purpose. And that brings us to the real question: if the truth can survive only by being hidden, what does that say about the world built on top of it? The Forbidden Archive isn't a myth. It's a reminder, a warning that not all knowledge is lost, some of it is locked away, because the moment it sees daylight, everything we think we know collapses. So the next time you hear that certain files will be classified in the future, vraiment bêtise some future verai. Some truths are never meant to reach the public, and some chapters of history remain underground not because they're forgotten, but because someone decided the world is safer without them. And that's why the Forbidden Archive, whatever its real name is, will never be released. Not in our lifetime. Not in any lifetime. Because the most explosive truths aren't buried in the past. They're buried in the dark.